So that's going to be available later on the YouTube site. Okay, welcome everyone. This is the North Carolina Change Control Board for December. Normally I go through and discuss the topics to discuss, the releases and stuff like that we've had. I wanted to kind of break the original format and kind of go to the end when we usually talk about on-site. I know I have on-site on the agenda today, but we were talking internally, and what we're going to do is we're going to break the on-site out into a separate meeting sometime after the first of the year. The goal is to kind of update the things that we have, and we just feel a separate meeting would be more beneficial for everyone. So at some time in January, we will have an update or a date that we're going to actually start those. It'll probably be on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So as we figure out what we're going to do, I'll let you guys know. That being said, that's the only caveat that I had today. So our release went out on December 2nd for the web stuff and mobile stuff. I will get together the release notes and post those on the bulletin board. And then, of course, there's not much here, but these are some of the things, some of the work items that we're working on this month below there. We actually had planning yesterday, so there's several more that are going to go on this. I can update this agenda and send it out after our meeting. And that being said, our very first discussion item, this was pretty much just a placeholder right here. This is the Mecklenburg simple checklist for the owners, managers to use. And this is something that we're going to look at in the first quarter of 2020. The goal that we were trying to do is push out the on-site forms for mobile between the first and second quarter. So I think this may fall in after that. That'll be a decision for the team, though. The next one, we have a work item to add the risk assessment. This was originally, we were working with Rebecca and Mark, and the last we heard, this was on hold. Mark, did you send me an update on this by any chance? I see you're on the phone. I don't know. Maybe not. Does anyone have any kind of update about where the state is with this?
Sorry, Trevor, I just stepped away for a second. Did I miss a question?
Yeah, well, not really. The discussion item number 2, this is something that Rebecca Coates and you and some others were looking at. This has to do with the request complaints, the risk assessment stuff that the state was looking at. That was on hold the last, in our October meeting, you had mentioned that the state was down 2 regional positions, so nothing's really been done. And so for this meeting, we were just wondering if there was any updates on that. I know you sent me an email regarding the SLAT information that we're going to discuss in a little bit, but I didn't know if there was any update on this.
Not that I've heard, and they just promoted Terry Ritter to field supervisor, so I'm sure they're still kind of figuring out what their next project's going to be and where the refocus is. So,
okay, so we should.
I wouldn't expect to hear anything until the new year.
Okay, so we'll just put this on hold, just as a placeholder then. All right. Thanks for that. The next one was Report 13, adding the activities to that, specifically the immediate permit suspension for that specific report. We discussed that internally, and we created a work item for that. That is going to be worked on this release and hopefully have that out by the end of the month. The next item is pool permitting. Kristen Allen sent this to us, and she wanted to discuss how to permit seasonal pools. We looked at this, and I believe this was for, it was basically it was the opening date was where the issue came into play. So basically, from what we understand, a reinspection can act as the opening date. Um, did someone have a question? Okay. So basically, what we currently have is we have the last inspection date on there, which is the opening date, but apparently a reinspection can cause that opening date also. So we're going to make it to whatever's on the system, whether it's an inspection or a reinspection. And so there is a work item for that one. The next one, something we've been kind of promising everyone, is a QA webinar. Originally, I was going to do a quick video, a how-to, but it looks like we're having some changes being put into that still. We're getting some other feedback as far as things that they'd like to see inside the system. So we're going to look into adding those pieces right there. Once that's completed, our customer service department is going to go ahead and hold a webinar, and you guys can join that. Sorry about that. So yeah, so they will hold a webinar. We will record that, and we can put that on our YouTube channel for if you aren't able to attend that webinar. The next one that I have, these are a couple new items here. Number 6, send email for new establishments. We have a user wanting to email notifications to EHSs that are assigned to a new establishment. Similar to how whenever we create a complaint, it's emailed to that person. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Something that you guys would be interested in? Is this something we should do as far as for everyone, or just go back to the specific user? Melissa? Cartwright? Good. Okay. All right. I will go ahead and put that down as something that we're going to discuss internally. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay, the next one, number 7, this is also a new one. The daycare permit process. We have a user stating that technically after the establishment gets an I, it can't receive an A on the first inspection. There should be something in between. She talked with Jackie Glenn, who instructed her to call us. She spot checked some daycares, and most are in I to A, but maybe that's because there's no other valid option. We would like to open this up for discussion to get input from other users. My understanding is that the permitting process for daycare specifically is you guys don't actually issue the permit, you're issuing an open sheet. So, even though we have it as an I, it's, either new or opening sheet. You're basically giving them the ability to, open at that point, and you can do inspections. And then the division of daycare are the people that actually give the actual licensing numbers. Am I correct with that statement? Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Shanika. So that being said, our process is we will issue the I statement, or we allow you guys to issue an I, and then the very next thing that you do, once they're basically created in our system, is you're able to go to an A because you're giving them an inspection. Does anyone see any flaws with that? That's
Trevor, did you see the comments that I sent you yesterday and the code sheet?
I saw the email, but I did not review it. Not
Well,
as yet.
there was a little bit of information in there about the use of an L status,
Okay.
and that L status is technically where the child care should be going, not I. See right in here, we're down to the second paragraph, third paragraph.
Yep.
That definition is straight out of the state permit status code definitions alphabet.
So then it should go from I to L. Oh, Melissa's saying that's for transitionals.
Maybe.
In the chat box, it looks like L status and it changes to an M.
Those that it has a pending status and it has a new ID number, so a new status, a new inspection. And this is probably done differently all across the state because L doesn't get used all that often.
Okay.
But last I talked with Jackie, it was supposed to be an L for a new inspection. But again, I don't think it's being used that way. And there may be a new definition for the L status code because the state has been expanding the definitions here and there for other services too, like using a B status for mobile food units, but that's a separate issue.
Okay, so do I need to get clarification from someone, or can someone get clarification for us that we're doing this correctly?
Trevor?
Yes.
This is Portia from Cumberland County. This was originally my question.
Okay.
So what I was asking was, when I go out to do the opening, I have to do a permit that day and then do a initial inspection, which is an IA, was what I was taught. So my question to Shelley that day was, when I try to upload into CDP is telling me that I can't upload as an I have to upload as an A, when really it's an I, because when I print it out in the field, it's an I when I give it to the establishment owner. So I was trying to figure out, is there a status that I'm missing? Because Jackie Glenn told me that L is for a daycare that is trying to open, but they get more than 30 demerits or provisional or approved. Okay. So if I'm doing it wrong, somebody please advise me on how they're doing it.
Trevor, this is Stacy. That's the issue is we do I to A, because the I is just getting it in the state system to get the information in there. That's what an I sheet's for anything. It's not. It's just getting them on the list with Jackie. As she just said, mobile won't allow you to send up an I and A at the same time. So what we do is we do an I sheet and IMS in the office that gets it in the system. It's not an inspection. It just gets it in there. That's the data that puts it in the database. And then when we go and do the inspection, that's when we're using the A. Whether it's supposed to be L or A, we use the A when we do that first inspection. It's a courtesy inspection for another licensing agency is what it boils down to. Okay. We're not the licensing agency. So that's the way we do it to avoid what she just said. Because if you try to do an I and A in the field, it's not going to let you send both of them.
Right, and it's going to it's going to cause an issue whenever we try to send that information to Bets. Portia, does Stacy's workflow work for you?
All right, this is Cheryl, and I'm looking at one that was a daycare that was just permitted here on November 22nd, and the permit was created in mobile with the time in of 2:15 and the time out of 2:45, and then the first inspection was dated 11/22 with the time in of 2:46 to 4 whatever.
So a minute later.
Right. And so we separated the time for the permit from the time for the inspection, although they occur back to back essentially, but we just break the time out a little bit. Okay. And that way we're able to upload the permit and the inspection the same time, and you get the total time between the two. So, if that makes sense. But that's what we've done to make it work. And I put in the comment box, I put the description of the L status that's directly from the state fees and statistics page with the status codes. And L seems to imply that it's when it's a change of ownership on a daycare.
Okay, so my question to you, obviously you're using the permit form, even though you guys aren't issuing the permit per se. That comes from the Division of Daycares or whatever it's called.
Correct.
On that permit, do you issue the I on that one?
Yes. So when we issue that permit, when we create that permit form and we upload it, then that's when it automatically gets the I because we mark it as a new permit.
Okay. So that's basically also just getting it in the system, as Stacy was
Correct.
saying. Okay. So
Correct.
Portia, do any of those workflows work for you?
And so maybe I'm not understanding. So you're saying that if I put in different times, it's going to let me load it as an I, the initial inspection, or is letting you upload it as an I because you're doing like a 1 minute lag time?
So what Cheryl uses, well, let me start with Stacy first. What he does is in IMS, they create the establishment in IMS first. That when he creates that, it's going to go in as an I, and that's basically just a placeholder to create the establishment in the web so that we have something to send to Jackie later on. After he creates that I, which basically creates the establishment, then he goes out in the field and uses mobile and does the inspection and issues the A. So he goes that route. What Cheryl does is, from what I understand, her people will go out into the field, use the permit form, which is I believe it's the EHS 1341 form, and at that point we'll create the establishment, and the status code would be an I, and then the time in and time out, whatever that would be. Let's say it's from 12 o'clock to 12:30. Then she will also at the same time do her inspection. The status would then be an A, and the time in and time out would be, say, 12:31 to whatever, and then send the permit up first and then the inspection up second, and that would avoid that error.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have it straight. Okay, awesome. I will then, now that we've got that correct, then I wasn't sure if we had to make a change, which is why I put it on the agenda. So I will take that off for the next time. All right. Thanks, guys. The next one is the SLAT. Basically, we've been asked to look into this. We were not sure what this was. And again, yesterday, as you saw the email that I just had up, Mark sent me all of this information. Looking through, we have not looked at this yet since we got it yesterday. This is something that we could probably discuss today in our planning session. Looking at this, it's from Joanna Hill. Is this someone that we should be in contact with for questions, or is there another contact I should have?
Trevor, I don't know that the state has designated a CDP contact at this time. Every time I ask, I get, I'm not sure. Last I heard it was, I think it was Jason, but I'm not sure that Jason knows that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's probably a question that needs to go to Shane.
Okay, Shane Smith?
Yes.
All right, let me put that down.
They really need one. I know Cheryl Schlachta was supposed to be for some time, but a lot of our questions would probably be answered more efficiently if we had a state representative.
Okay. Is this something that's of high priority for you guys? Is this basically just expanded activity codes? Does anyone know?
This is manpower calculation is what it is, to determine how many people you need to do the work. And since we already have the information about how many establishments we have and how many times a year they need to be inspected, then that's sort of the thought I'm assuming as to why it might be a tool that could be used in CDP.
Okay.
Trevor, this is Stacy. I mean, there is, I mean, many years ago, we had to report monthly, just like we do with the on-site report with food and lodging, and
Right.
give all our numbers just like we did. Then they quit doing it. Well, some folks like myself, we kept using those codes and created our own monthly reports with those codes. There is an updated set of codes, and Mark may have sent that to you in his information, that there's a new updated list of codes that's more in detail and description of different things, activities that you do in order to capture that manpower that Cheryl was just talking about. I still have some questions on some of those codes as to how you quantify it, because with inspections, it's just a number of inspections, but some of those things are things to me that looks like would be an hour calculation and not necessarily an activity that I don't know how they quantify that. I've got questions, and I'm going to ask some of the regional folks. I don't know if we need to jump straight into using those codes just yet, but they are out there. I don't know if anybody else is using them. We're actually trying to use them now, and I think there's actually some marking instructions that go with those codes. I think we have somewhere.
So
and part of my problem is that I have created codes for capturing some of those activities for ourselves, and now they're coming in and creating some different codes that's going to get things really confused, because I started tracking our TFE activities a long time ago.
Well, there's some activities such as, say, you're teaching serve safe, educational activity, and
right.
You put in, what do you put for that? You put in the hours involved, or you put in just a one and they're going to quantify it somehow? I mean, whether it's a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day class, I just don't know how that's going to come to play to what his codes are.
Right, and we've had a activity in our system for years for educational presentations that captures the number of hours associated with how long we're doing an educational presentation. We also have planning and prep that includes the time that you prepare for making that presentation. So we've had those activities for years and have been tracking them. So now, anyway, this is my soapbox. I have issue with them creating activities without consulting with counties that have already been tracking their activities.
Well, Trevor, and technically on this particular part of it, it all is cumulative and part of that QA process that you guys already have built a module for.
Right.
And this is part of that whole state QA requirement stuff and doing these manpower studies and all that. It's all kind of bundled together. So this may end up being part of that package for you guys. I don't know, but that's kind of where it is. This is a part of that whole process.
Okay. You know what? I've been talking with Stephen Graham, and he said he had some questions about the QA module. Hopefully we're going to meet or have a meeting sometime Monday or Tuesday of next week. It doesn't look like he's on the meeting, but I think he just mentioned in an email yesterday or this morning exactly what you just said, Stacy, that there was some other documentation that he wanted to add into the QA module, and this may be what that is, what he's referring to. So for now, I guess we'll just keep this as a placeholder, and as we get more information, we'll, I guess, address it at that point. We still need to look at this internally as a team to see what it's all about also. So that being said, I'll just make a note that we're still going to look into this and go from there. The next one, do I have Bobby on the call? I do not. Anyone from Brunswick County?
Excuse me, Trevor. I just got an answer from Jackie.
Okay.
I can't copy and paste it here, and you don't want to wait for the week for me to type it in. You want me to just forward it to you so you can read it to the group?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Is this referring to the SLAT, or is this referring to daycares?
No, going back to the child care.
Okay.
Okay, it should be in your inbox in a sec. It's more along what Cheryl was talking about in the text box, the chat box.
Okay, so basically you were asking when to use the L code for child cares And her response is, if you're going into a child care for the first time and children are present and they receive less than superior, that is documented in the system as an L. It remains in L status until they reach superior. So yeah, kind of like a transitional for child cares. Okay.
However, recognize it's the first time, so it can be a new or it can be a change in ownership, transitional.
Okay. So we'll need to look at how we use the L status code then.
Well, yeah, and again, it's a little used code, and the I status would apply when it's a superior.
Okay. We do have a status code validation in our system, and we can go ahead and just make sure that it's available for either situation.
The complication is that Children's Environmental Health Branch and Child Development want us to do an inspection,
right,
rather than an opening inspection, and that's where the superior rating would come from, is the grade itself.
Okay.
So that just reinforces that it has to be a full inspection, even though there are no kids there for a new establishment.
Right.
Presumably.
Okay. Thanks for that information, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, this came from Brunswick County, and I was hoping that they would be on the call. Someone would be on the call.
It's Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
I'm from Brunswick County. Hey.
Hey. Okay. I didn't see you in the list there. So basically, the question that you had is here. Let me pull up the email. This is something that we talked about internally this morning also. So, an example for violation number 26. This code right here, controlling pests, shows up as a C item in the canned comments, but sections of that is a PF. So basically, you want that specific predefined comment broken up into two sections. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, we've been working recently quite a bit with our regional specialist, and he was saying we need to be very specific on what's going to be a core, a P, or a PF. And some of the codes just have the different sections can be either one of those. So we'll have to back out, take the PF out, put a C, or vice versa. So he was saying that I think New Hanover County has shared with him that there's a way to get those canned comments put in CDP where it breaks down the code under sections for what's relevant.
Okay. So we have a way for you guys to add predefined comments to violations.
Okay.
The one question that we had this morning, John, are you available? Grady?
I am. Excuse me.
That's right. Was it this one right here, the 6-501? Is that not in there?
Yeah, Trevor, can you log into go log into production? Log in at just you go in as are you in as the admin account?
Yeah.
All right. So search for state comment yes, and then the form number, and then line 26. Okay, so in that email, I see the other three codes that were mentioned in there, but I didn't see. Hang on, I'm gonna get that email back up on my other monitor here. Okay, so the 6-501.111, I don't see that in the list at all.
That was 24, wasn't it?
No, it says 26.
She's doing the pest one. 26 is chemical.
No, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong one. Here, let me see which one it is. Oh, was it 20? Let me pull up a form and see which one it is. 14 is a good example.
$36. Sorry, number 36, not 26.
Okay. Okay. All right, so there's the 605111. It's in there as a, oh, it's flagged as a PF, but it's got C in the wording.
Right.
Aha. Oh, yeah, Trevor, that one would need to be changed. So what is that one actually? Is that actually a priority? Is the PF correct or is the C correct?
It's both.
Yeah, it's which section of that rule applies to what you're seeing as a violation.
Okay.
So it could be either or depending on the situation.
Right.
So we need to add.
So
we
add the
yeah.
Add the PF. That's a state comment, so we'll have to change that one.
Okay.
So add the PF to description, and then we have to check the flag as both C and PF.
Which
Would it
number
really-
which number in the code are we talking about?
6501111. Controlling a pest. So like the presence of pest may be, I can't remember how it's
I think
broken
it's like
down now.
A and B or a C, a core, and then C of that section would be a PF.
They need to bring this up to the state because it's generalized in the marketing. I'm looking at the latest set of marketing instructions,
Yeah.
and it doesn't break it down.
There's more than one example
Yeah.
like that, Stacy.
14 is another example too, depending on what you're marking under that section. It can be a PF or a C.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is the regionals are telling us we need to break it down. They need to break their marketing instructions down better.
Yeah, that's what and here's the thing, for this specific issue, I've heard this from several other counties also regarding this, but we don't have any of those marking instructions. We don't have the updated version of what they're wanting to break down. We asked for that, we got something from the state, and it does not have anything different than what we currently have. Is there someone that can get something that's updated and send that to us?
I don't think it exists. I think we're just having a look at the food code and say specifically looking that way.
Yeah, we're having to actually take the marketing instructions, go in the food code, see what it is, back it out, whether it's a P, PF, or C, and add that comment. Because that is something they're looking at on the QA inspection form.
Yeah, Trev, I'm looking at the November 2019 marketing instructions, the latest and greatest set, and it doesn't break it down.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I probably emailed you the other day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So we have a couple choices here currently. Number one, you can continue to just select this one and then back out the C if it's a PF, and then add that one way. Number two, you could actually add an additional. This is more work for you guys on the back end, but maybe easier going forward. You could go into the predefined comment section here. I believe you guys have access to this, and you can add another comment and basically cut and paste this and make it a PF. That way, when your predefined comments pop up, you have either the same comment verbiage with a P or a PF or a C. It would be up to you.
Yeah.
I don't know which direction you want to go with.
Trevor, I think if they've already found them, like they're talking about 3614 or whatever, if you guys compile a list of the ones that are known like that, can't we just go ahead and add them?
Yeah, we could definitely. If you guys compile the list, we can add them.
Let's do that, and that way we're not continuing to work around and just look. Yeah. We can correct if we get a consensus. It's just basically pulling out the food code and checking and saying, "Yep, that's right," and moving on. But and I can ask my folks the same thing. But if anybody's got them, want to compile an email, send it to you. I'm good with going ahead and changing it.
Okay. Well, we're good with that too. So if you guys give me that list, whoever does that, then we'll go ahead and put it out there for you.
Okay, that's the two we've seen so far. But yeah, we'll go through and see which ones need to be changed.
Look at number 6 also. That's the one that rings a bell to me. 6 and I think maybe 18 also. Those are two that I believe I remember hearing about also.
6 is hand washing. It might be that it's a C for the hand wash sign and the rest are PF.
Maybe. Just that one and 18 are the ones that ring a bell to me that I've heard before from different folks. Oh, in the chat box, Anthony says that Holly here may have a list from last year. Is she still in Richmond? Holly, are you on the phone?
Hey, Trevor, there was a committee that met to do all the predefined comments last year. And I thought I don't know what happened with it, but I thought she sent that to you all last year to upload in.
I don't remember seeing it, honestly.
Okay.
If she's still in Richmond, I can reach out to her.
Okay.
Yeah, Victoria is saying the same thing. All right, I'll reach out to Holly and see what she has. Okay, let's move forward. The last one that I have is kind of just a note. For the new My Apps functionality, we were asked if we had the ability to, currently in the My Forms, if you're looking at the history form before you go out there or as you go out there to do an inspection, you have the ability to open up the history form and an inspection form and kind of toggle between the two, to look at your violations of what you selected before and what you're going to select now. In the new My Apps version, that was not available, but as of talking with our senior developer yesterday, he said that functionality will be available moving forward. I don't have a specific date, but I can get that for you guys and send it out in an email. I just wanted to put this on the list to let you guys know, the ones that were asking for something like this, that it will be available.
Hey, Trevor, along with that, will we be able to cut and paste from the history to the new inspection?
I don't know off the top of my head. Let me, I'll make a note of that and I'll ask him this morning. Let me see if he's in.
Some people do that if it's like the same exact violation, like for cleaning, and they've listed out 15 things, then sometimes they copy and paste it and use the same part of the comment.
I'm looking in my Teams messaging system, and it doesn't look like he is available right now. I will ask him that question and give you guys an answer for that. All right. So I've come to the end of my list at this point. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up?
Yes, sir. This is Stacy. You know I had something.
Yeah, if you're going to be on the call, of course.
I'm going to be on the call. Sorry for my absence. I've been kind of busy last few meetings. The print functionality on the new app for food inspections, I mean, Vera's my guinea pig. She's taking it in the field, working out all the kinks before we introduce it to all the rest of the folks in my office. But the printing is a stumbling block. The way it prints out that inspection form, it has those big wide margins, and the form's so small, by God, I can't read it. Are they going to be able to fix that? Because that's kind of a big hold up for us, is until we can print that thing that it actually looks like the form and prints out right. That's a big issue for us.
All right, John, I'm going to lean on you on this one. I know we discussed this in planning with Tom. I don't remember where we left off on this one.
We got to get this one fixed.
Well, not only are the margins so large, it prints all of the violations jammed up together on the very last page. So you'll have 4 pages. You'll have the main inspection page. You'll have 2 blank pages for with the comment addendum heading, and then page 4 is blank at the heading, and it has all your violations jammed in together, and the font's about a 6 or 8 font.
That's right. It doesn't even put the comment. It looks so Mickey Mouse with the comments just stuck on a blank page. I mean, it's
okay.
It's keeping us from using it. We can't use it until this part.
Okay.
All right. Trevor, so Tom's in the process of talking with Michael about that.
Right.
Because we're probably a little bit limited as to what we can fix, but how about can you get one set up here real quick so we can all see exactly the issue?
I submitted that as a ticket. and sent samples in, and Brenda is the one that has been dealing with that. So I sent her actual images of how these print out.
Cheryl, do you happen to remember the ticket number?
Let's see, I'm pulling it up. Ticket number 131065. I sent that in yesterday.
And I know we've called, I've had some email exchanges on this topic well before then, over the last few weeks.
Yeah, we just started trying to use it last week.
Okay, so our understanding is that it prints in this way when you do the print before you finish. If you print after you finish, then it should come out okay. So we're working through that issue.
No, that is not correct. The front page, yes, but the comments still end up on page 4. So if you look at the PDF, because I think I sent her the PDF as well.
Right. The comments basically, John, it's just comments thrown on a blank piece of paper, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I see that now. There's no headings, no lines, no nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. And like I said, not mention it prints out so small, and again, honestly, it's stopping us from using it. I mean, that's our big holdup right now.
Hey, Trevor, it's Melissa. I've submitted multiple lengthy emails to customer support, and they said they're still working on it. I don't know if they're going to update that spreadsheet with all of our comments that guy had created a while ago.
Tom would have been the one to create that.
He sent it to us as like a Google Docs worksheet or something.
Right. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to try and get on the same page as you guys.
Hey, Trevor, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run down the hall real quick and see if Tom can join this call.
Okay. It's creating it.
Trevor, I just sent you an email exchange with Shelley I had on November 20th about this issue. Just basically you guys are working with Micah to see what can be done about the local print and large margins. That's all she knew at the moment.
Yeah, I remember something about this part. Okay. Well.
Okay, I'm going to forward Tom the meeting invite. He's going to join the call. When I see Tom join the call, I'll let him know what you're doing right now, Trevor.
Okay.
So is this one that are you just putting this one in now, or did you open up one that was?
No, I just put this one in now. This is on test, so I don't know if he's updated something versus what they're seeing.
Okay. All right, Tom's on the call. Tom, if you're, let's see if he's connected on phone yet. No, he's not.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Okay. So Trevor's putting one in now on test, so he could generate the report. So there's the one ticket that
what you see on the printout should be locally should be the same thing that happens on the server.
On the ticket, there's Cheryl from Forsyth sent an example on ticket 130. What was it? 130165. 131065. There's a sample on there, and that one there, you can see the comments are showing up on that second page with no headings or anything.
Okay.
So the margin issue you're aware of, and that's not within our control, correct? That's you're
Correct.
working with our vendor for that.
Right. As is another issue that people have brought up several times is the ability to print like selected pages. When you go to say print locally, not on the server, but locally, you say print. If there's 5 pages as part of the inspection, it just gives you all 5, and you don't have a choice to how to do it. That's the print dialogue that pops up is out of our control. But we was going to try to work on. We could maybe potentially do a fix where it does a smart print, where it only prints pages that actually possibly have something on them. I don't think that would apply to food like restaurants or FDA or restaurant type establishments. It would apply to other types, rules and such.
Okay.
The third item, the other item, if you're talking about the printing, I think I saw one that way I was going to look into.
So Trevor, where are your violation comments at?
I didn't add any. Let me go ahead and add some. Let me out. Oh yeah. Totally missed it over here. On page 4.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to get these moved up in priorities pretty. There's corrections to this. Tom, I'll talk to you outside the call about if we need to do something to escalate this with Michael for any of the parts that we can't change, but anything that we can correct. Tom, do you have an idea why the comments are just falling off to that extra page like that? Tom?
Yeah, he's not on.
Did we lose? He's still on a call.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can.
All of a sudden, I had the microphones that connected. I had to switch the microphone from one side to the other and back and forth to make it show what happened. Yeah, I'll have to look into this. We have to use, because of the various platforms we're doing, iPads and Android phones and other devices. The printing is done using HTML, like web page HTML kind of stuff that's used to create web pages. It's not 100% designed for printing purposes, although that's what it's being used for. So forcing new pages in some cases and making it consistent across the board gets kind of messy. So it's got to do with the pagination. We do have a working one of our other system. I do have a similar concept of what this is doing, and it's working fine on that one. So we should be able to kind of compare what I'm doing in what we're doing in the other one and what we're doing here to try to reproduce the same result. The food would be the only one that would be having problems with this. This is the only one that actually does this kind of a printing where it has to add the violations at the end, sort of. Other ones wouldn't have an issue. It would only be this one.
I'm pretty sure the other ones do too. I'd have to go back and look. I think I did a nursing home one that printed weird.
I'd have to see that. The only one that we do odd pagination where we have to put the added violations at a later point is anything that's restaurant or food. It's the food related. Where it's a 4007 form. The 4007 is the one that does this, that makes it operate this way. Trevor, you want to switch? Yeah, switch types. Go back and pick. Even in the same form, we go to the 4007 form. Go that.
Okay.
And just pick a pool. I think pools is in there. Go to the type 50s and put in or what are the other ones that's in there. Pick something, mark a violation. There's a violation out. These don't use the same form of the same. It doesn't try to tack the violations at the end like the other one did. So it doesn't matter. Let it print.
It does the same for the comment addendum, and I sent that in to customer support. I'm looking to see if there's a nursing home one too.
Comment addendum did it before. The other one we had as a separate thing as well. We put the old comment under the current mobile. The comment addendum, the form itself has only so much space on the comment addendum, but we didn't want to have, if the comments were too long, we didn't overwrite it. So even on the current mobile, there's a page 2 that's just blank that all the comments print on. That's the way the current one mobile does. So the comment addendum on this does the same thing. The main page will show the comments, but if you're seeing it overflows page 1, then the page 2 is just a blank page that has all the comments. That it is a blank page on its own, but that's the way the current mobile did it as well. You don't have to fill all the stuff in, Trevor. Use a print.
To print it? Oh, I thought I did.
Yeah, no, it's a printing. It's just you can page forward right there in the preview. You don't have to actually print it to see in the preview. Just page forward.
The margins are still off. I understand what you're saying. That the comments on the first page of the comment addendum and the second, currently in mobile and in the new Me app. So I just hit print page 1, but the printing skew and the shrinking is still off.
Right. The margins is what we're working with our partner company to work on getting through. That's a bit out of our reach at some point. So we're working with our partner company to figure out why the margins are becoming so big. When you print locally, the margin looks like this, and it's a big margin and everything's shrunk down. When you do a finish and you finally upload it and you look at the final version that was printed that was sent to the system, that one does not have the margin issues. It's this one talking about the non 4007. All these the final version does not have the margin issues. The margin issues happen when you're printing locally. And that's the
right, but we print out in the field. So
right, that's understandable. We're working with our partner company to figure out what the problem is with that part.
Okay, so sounds like I need to get with John, and I probably need to get with Mike and escalate this with Micah.
Most definitely.
Okay. Stacy, did you have anything else? We're obviously going to work with Micah on this. Is there something else we need to address also?
That's all I have was just that printing issue's just got us at a standstill. As soon as we get that moving, then we can try to implement this app throughout our office.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else other than that specific piece that they want to add?
Trevor, did you see my email? Did you? I'm sorry.
Just 1 second.
I sent them all to customer support. One of them's like a page. It's got like 8 different comments on it with an example, and then I sent 2 more after that. Customer support has them all with numbers.
I'll have
ticket numbers.
Trevor, that's ticket number 129937.
Okay. All right, we should probably put all of these into that document that Tom created, at least with the ticket numbers, so that we can address them as we move forward. $132. Okay, 130, 320. And 129937. Oh, that's the one I've already got there. Okay.
And also, I don't know, I didn't see it on your list of new topics to discuss. If you already discussed it and I missed it, I'm sorry, but we also had a comment from someone where they would like for the inspection forms on my app to default to all establishments, not just establishments assigned to them. So I guess it defaults to their name in the drop down, and so they only see establishments that are assigned to them. I've heard this from 2 people, and you should probably open it up to see what others think. But the 2 people I spoke with want it to default to all establishments, and then they can choose to just see their own if that's what they want.
And you can toggle that in the app, correct, Shelley, or not? You can toggle the
yes.
change. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they just want it to default to all. What do you think about that?
Hey, Trevor, you want to just go to the data sync download form?
Yep.
Now, that default that we're looking for is there on the screen which says EHS number. If you leave that blank, then it will default to all. It won't select one ahead of time, and it'll just default to all. And if you want to see your own, then you have the choice. If you fill in the EHS number, then it will automatically only show you yours to start with, and then you have a choice to switch to show all if you want to. So it's a choice of whether you want to plug in your EHS number in there or not. If they want that to be an additional option where they want to still plug their EHS number in but not default to that, that's something we could possibly do going forward.
What do you guys on the phone think? Do you want an additional option, or are you okay just putting in your EHS number right here on the sync page? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's Stacy. I mean, for us, smaller county, seeing them all, because we may grab someone else's one time is what we like to see. But you take a larger county, I can perfectly understand with somebody that only want to see theirs, because if you put all the Mecklenburg counties in your list and you're trying to find the one you're going to choose, I'm sure that would be difficult.
Yeah, they got like over 8,000 establishments.
Right. I mean, I think we can live with whatever.
Okay.
As long as we have that ability, like I said, to toggle between, we can.
Right. Maybe we just put some documentation out there to let everyone know how to handle that at this point regarding this EHS number field. That way, no one's confused.
Hey, Trevor.
Yeah.
The only side effect, when you put an EHS number here, this does 2 things. This first, it defaults when you go to do an inspection, it'll default to only showing your establishments. That's the first. Mm-hmm. The second is that it will automatically select your EHS, like on the footer, it'll automatically select you as the EHS doing the inspection. Those are the 2 places it plugs in. So that's the part that would be an option. It would be if it came to still be a kind of a problem with some of the counties, then we could separate that and have the EHS number of establishments to show, and then next to it, my EHS number to plug in on the inspection, so that you could have a choice both ways. You could still automatically select yourself when you do an inspection, but see all the establishments when you're going to look for one. That would be the option of how that would operate if we wanted it.
Okay. Well, we'll write all that up and we'll send it out. That way everyone's aware of how to handle this. Before the chat box gets too filled up, Cheryl, I see you're asking where the intent to suspend, revoke, and immediate suspension forms. Tom, did we push those out this past release, or was that coming up?
We're pushed out. Let me double check where they're.
On the server, we may need to add them to the group.
Right, possibly. We did push them out.
Okay.
It was just one form. It's one form that says 4009 ABC.
I see it right here. I see
that's
it.
The one.
So we just need to make sure this is available for everyone then.
It is in the food lodging general, the group for food lodging general. It's in the group, so maybe I just didn't see it as seeing in the list of all of them. But it is in the proper group, so that everybody would see it. They're not in the same place, because before there were three separate forms. Now
Right.
it's joined together to be one common form that handles all three functions.
Cheryl, are you still there?
Yeah, I see it, but when I see ABC, I think grade cards. I don't think revoke.
Okay. Okay, so you do see this one right here.
Yep, I
Right.
got it.
Okay.
I just assumed it was the printing, the ability to print the grade cards.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think we put that on this one right here, the
description?
print-only forms.
Yep, got it.
And Tracy Stevens, I see, is there a way to toggle between the history and the inspections forms? I addressed that earlier, but since Tom's on the phone, is that currently going to happen, or is that available now, or is that in a release at the end of the month, or?
Just a toggle back and forth like the current mobile has is not an option right now. We'd have to look into more possibilities. I think it might be possible. It wouldn't be as clean. I mean, on the current mobile, you can see the two different tabs, and you can just kind of flip flop between the two, and that option is not available. It's not a possibility on there. I think we'd have to talk with our partner company and see if that's in the wing, something that might be coming soon. Otherwise, we might have option to provide a button on both screens, so you can click the button, it would take you to the history, and then on the history screen, another button that says return to my form, and it would return you back. So it would kind of be a flip flop. I think that's a possibility.
Okay.
But the other question I had about that was was the reason for going to the history. I know in some cases I know people have wanted in the past, and some counties have wanted to copy the comments from a past, like a previous inspection for violation 3 was out of compliance. I wanted to copy my comments from that previous one and paste it back into the current one. And we might be able to make a better functionality for that even than what it had before, where you could do it right within the inspection itself without having to flip flop around. But
yeah,
if it's just what was on the previous one, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, the cut and paste is what was in the chat box from several people before. They wanted to know if that was available, and there's quite a few people who wanted that. And I apologize if I misspoke, guys, earlier regarding that toggle between the history and the inspection form. For some reason, I thought I heard Tom say yesterday that it was available, but apparently he said it wasn't. So my bad for that.
Now, we would have to do coding to kind of allow a similar functionality where you click a button, it would take you from one and take you back to the other. But the same way, the same functionality of toggling the way the current mobile has is not there yet.
All right, so is that on your checklist of things to look into?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. Let me look back through here. Did I miss anybody in the chat box? I don't think I did. Okay.
For the 4009 form, would it be helpful instead of just saying 4009 ABC? You could do something simple on it and just add to the name, add permit suspension denial, more wording on there, so that it makes it a little bit more clear to make sure that.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a good idea.
We just need to know what else we want to add to it. Permit suspension.
A simple phrase could be permit action.
Permit action. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Anyone else have anything they want to bring up? Anthony also mentioned the email function to the operator is not working either. Tom, Anthony, are you talking about in the My Apps, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll send to the inspector, but not to the operators.
Tom, are you seeing that in the chat box?
Uh,
The last one from.
yeah, I see it's in there. That's what we were looking into yesterday, Trevor.
Okay.
The sample that we saw of somewhere, unless it's something is being blocked on our server side. A couple of us had tried it in house. I did one on production for somewhere, and I received mine. I just had a blank copy of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, did you see the the email from the one that we were talking about yesterday? The same issue. The user confirmed that their IT they had their IT people over the weekend deployed a new quarantine.
Oh.
And as soon as the IT people released that, all of the inspections she was looking for showed up in her inbox.
Oh no, I didn't see that. So.
Hey, Anthony, do you have an IT department?
Yes. So I just need to check with them.
Yeah, check with them. Yeah, we discussed this with a different client yesterday, and once they reached out to their IT people, they found out there was a whitelist issue.
Okay.
And they fixed it.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Any topics? I will take that as a no.
Hey, Trevor, Trevor.
Yeah.
This is Danny with Brunswick.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, man. With all this conversation, I know there was a hard launch date that we were trying to put on for My Apps. Is that still the case?
I'm going to defer that to John based on some of the issues that we are discussing now.
Right now, I would say it's not a hard launch date. We'll stay flexible. What our ultimate goal would be to try to get everything off onto the new app by July 1st.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? All right. I'll take that as a no. And if you guys come up with anything after this, obviously just send me an email and we'll go from there. I will get back to you guys regarding a date for the on-site stuff. Again, it'll be after the first of the year. I will update this agenda and send it out so that you have the most recent notes on that. That's all I've got. I appreciate your time this morning, guys. Have a good one.